almost falls down. Throws to the end zone. Owens! Owens! Owens!
It will change, and I'm not trying to tell you something. It's going to change. It's not like that. Okay, but I want you to understand where I'm coming from. It will change. And it will change because they wanted to change, not because of me. It will change because they want to be champions.
Smith in a gun with Gore on his left hip. Third down, Alex takes the snap. Alex looking, got it, post, and it's good! Touchdown, 49! Vernon Davis with the play of his life. It all comes to this fourth down. 4th and 4 at the San Francisco 10. Ryan in a shotgun. Rodgers to his left. 3 receivers right. Ryan takes the snap. Looking, pressure, throws middle. Broken up! Fighting! Navarro Bowman! And the 49ers silence the house.
Hey. What's up, people? This is the Gold-Blooded Podcast. And we're here to stay. This is our second episode of the...
Clearly we're here to stay. We've done it for 100 years for nothing. We drive all over the state once a week to do it for $0. It's clearly not going anywhere.
This is the section... This is the second episode of the first installment of the off-season country. We're bringing you no heat.
We promise nothing.
It's freezing in here.
I'm barely here. I'm fucking high as fuck, allegedly. Fucking rig is fucked up. So, what do you want?
Can't be that fucked up if you're fucked up.
What do you want from me? Steve, go.
He's very fucked up because he doesn't actually mean the rig is fucked up. There's nothing wrong with the rig.
No,
Okay.
great.
He's so high that's how the words came out of his mouth. It's not, the rig is not fucked up at all.
Nope. Rig's great.
All right.
Great health. The rig is in great health.
So I'll just continue where we left off.
You want some of that milk?
Yes.
Come on, do it.
I don't even know what I'm saying yes to.
Yeah.
Rig hits.
Oh, no, I'm good on that. I'm
Yeah,
all set
definitely
there.
said yes.
I'm
And
fu-
it's on recording.
I'm
Play it back, Chris.
If you don't own up to it, you're a twat.
a twat.
Of course you are.
Next on the list, Elijah Lee cannot be viewed as the permanent starter
Why not?
because he had 4 decent games at the end of the season. We got fooled by that with Adrian Colbert there, free safety.
Yeah, but you're still pumped about Akella Weatherspoon.
I didn't say I was pumped about Akella Witherspoon.
Yeah, you did.
When?
Last year. You said you were like, well, he had a couple bad games, but I'm still down with him. Still going to get his jersey.
No, definitely not.
You said you were going to get the T-shirt with his number on the back.
No, there's a gray area. But anyway,
You got it in gray?
yes,
T-shirt?
Yes, the
You got
Pro Bowl version.
The gray version.
For when he goes there.
Yeah, okay.
But I see a lot of people just saying that we're fine at linebacker because we have Fred Warner, which is great, but we also have Elijah Lee, which is...
Yo, Fred Warner was hanging out with Dante Pettis' sister last night.
Thanks for the gossip.
I noticed that.
Freddie Warren. Fast Freddy.
think he's hitting that.
She's thick.
Think that's his style. Steady Freddy.
It'd be my style. I like his hair a lot.
Bottom line is Elijah Lee did play well at the end of the season, but other than that, I mean, he doesn't really come with much clout. And Malcolm Smith restructured his contract to remain with the team. The guy hasn't been good on the field. He hasn't been good off the field. He's just a fucking mess. Hated that signing right from the jump, and yet here he is restructuring his contract to stay with us.
Yeah, it sucks dick. I hate him.
But I am in favor of investing at that position, whether it be free agency or another third-round pick on another linebacker, just like we did with Steady Freddy last year.
Giddy up.
Did you hear Will Hoyt saying he tried out mid-season?
Yes.
They called him up.
They called him up, but he said he was done.
Willow
No, he tried out.
Oh, he did try out.
No, they
That's
brought
right.
him in and tried him out.
Yeah, but he said that he hadn't been training.
He hadn't been training like he did during the season, but he felt like he was ready to try.
Willow didn't have it in the tank.
And they made whoever he was talking to made a good point about how when he was coming out, it was like the worst time to be a 49ers linebacker.
Yep.
Like when he was hitting his peak, Willis and Bowman were there, so he had no shot.
Yes.
But he made it positive. He was saying, yeah, but working side by side with those two every day makes you better.
Yeah, he's a good listen. If
Yeah.
you catch
Yeah, he's not
interviews
an
of
idiot.
him, He knows his shit.
He's got a radio show or something too.
Yeah, I think in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Did you hear when somebody asked him about Kaepernick being a sellout? He was like, "Man, I don't even have a response for whoever said that. You're an idiot."
Yeah.
Moving on to picking up Armstead's fifth-year option at the cost of about $9 million. Trent Baalke's 2015 first-round pick is under yet another year of evaluation. We still don't feel like we know the player he is yet, as strange as that sounds. But he is coming off his most productive and injury-free season of his career, and he proved to be a valuable asset last year, especially in the run game and some in the pass game. I mean, make no mistake, he was our second-best defensive lineman last year, by far. Like, better than Solomon Thomas.
We got a new D-line coach, too.
I have some news about him whenever you want to.
Okay.
You go, and then I'll go.
See what that new coach can do with him.
He was better than Solomon Thomas. He was better than Ronald Blair. And given the amount of cap space we have, we're not up against it by any means. I agree with the move completely. We're slightly overpaying him to get another look at him, basically. And just the luxury of having a player on an expiring contract that you're not sure of, you could just cut ties at the end of the season and have no strings attached whatsoever. Just a clean goodbye. No dead cap, nothing.
So the other day, I follow a lot of the players. He was at like an NFL investment synopsis, I guess you'd call it, kind of deal, where they teach NFL players how to invest properly. And it was this particular one happened to be a real estate one, and he was live streaming part of it, and I happened to be watching it, and it was like pretty involved. I was like pretty impressed. It was like it gave the one part they were doing gave like different options for investments. It was like which one is the best option, and they were like hard question. It was hard. I probably would have failed, to be honest with you. I mean, so it's impressive. Trying to better himself. Good for him. Spend some of that $9 million properly.
All right.
One other thing I'd like to comment on. Maybe Rob can help me. Who's the white guy that just signed with the Phillies?
Bryce Harper?
Yes. So he just signed this huge contract, right? And the Giants made a run at him. Mm-hmm. And a big reason why he didn't sign with the Giants was because of the taxes in California. That's so fucking shitty.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Did you hear what Theo Vaughn said about it?
No.
He called it the cocaine challenge. He's like, when you get that much money, how are you not going to buy... He goes, I'd buy a garbage bag full of cocaine.
Yeah, $330 million.
He goes, Bryce Harper, you're next up on the cocaine challenge. It was like $330 million or something.
Absolutely insane. Isn't it like all guaranteed? Like MLB contracts are like fucking the shit.
Yeah, Bobby Bonilla is still getting paid by the Mets.
It's so nuts.
Seriously, he's going to be getting paid till like 2031 or something.
I tell you, if there was no salary cap in the NFL, the figures that we would see, because it's by far America's biggest sport, by far brings in the most amount of revenue and eyeballs to the screen. If there was no salary cap in the NFL, you'd be seeing quarterbacks with like $500 million contracts.
Mm-hmm. How about that soccer video? That guy getting punched.
That was nuts.
That was wild by a fan, huh? I mean, shitty punch, but the fact that he made
No, that was a perfect punch. That's exactly where you should hit somebody.
No, it looked.
That's how you put him out. The one on the neck?
No, it looked like he missed though.
No, that's a fucking guy that knows where to punch someone. You punch someone in the neck, that's how you get him knocked out.
Oh, I thought he missed. I thought he kind of hit him.
One way. That's one really easy way to knock someone out.
You hit him in the ear.
You cut the oxygen supply.
Oh, fucking get him.
No, that's like a trained. That guy was a trained fucking. That was
get him
pinpoint accuracy.
Get him in a throat top. You should have fucking.
Well, the other guy should have fucking played better soccer.
Probably, or maybe he played too good a soccer. I don't know.
Score some goals.
I must have lost a lot of money on my bookie. Very good, Chris. More off-season news. Wes Welker and Miles Austin joined the coaching staff. Wes Welker was hired as our wide receiver coach. He spent the past 2 seasons with Houston as an offensive assistant. Shanahan referred to what he did the past 2 years in Houston as grunt work and explains that, coaches show you how serious they are about coaching if you can go through that grunt work and still want to continue with that lifestyle, because it's just a fucking grind. And Miles Austin was hired as an offensive quality control coach, where he spent the past 3 seasons in Dallas as a scout.
Interesting.
So
I don't think it's coincidental that Wes Welker will be coaching Trent Taylor.
Trent Taylor, yep. And Richie James. Very similar players. I made this note before the trade went down, but Antonio Brown to the Raiders. Right here, I have it right on top. Antonio Brown is a mess. Just
Yeah.
a fucking train wreck.
Is he?
Yeah, he did.
He did exactly
What he said
the
he would.
NFL does not want players
Yep.
to do. And
They-
he took control of the situation
Goodell's
and
got
got
to
exactly
be
what he
sick.
wanted.
Goodell has to be fucking
And NFL owners,
sick.
old white NFL owners are shitting their
Yeah,
pants right
Jer-
now.
yeah.
First of all, the Steelers saved nothing.
None.
Nothing. The only thing they did get 2 draft picks and good ones.
Yeah.
A third and a fifth. So that they can sit back on that and go, well, we're paying this money, but we're paying it to have these 2 draft picks.
Yeah.
So they have something that they can say. But Antonio Brown, now he's the highest paid wide receiver. He's got an extended contract. He just made millions more. And he got the fuck away from the team he didn't want to be with.
Yeah.
He's in the driver's seat.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
And Shanahan, there's no way after like the second or third thing.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Once the domestic possibility thing happened, I was like, well,
He
that's
checked
it.
himself
You're-
right out
you're
of the
toast.
Niners. Yeah. And there were. Did you see the talks of maybe now Le'Veon Bell to the Raiders as well? Could you imagine that? That's so typical of the Raiders.
Oh,
Yeah,
that would be perfect. I would love that. The Raiders are done.
They just
yeah, agreed.
they just matched up a 31-year-old Antonio Brown across from a prehistoric Jordy Nelson. Like
After getting
after
rid of
trading Amari Cooper, what are you doing? Like
shot.
the Oakland Raiders right now are like, I thought of this earlier as this analogy. They're like the drunk guy at the blackjack table at 2:30 in the morning that's never played blackjack before.
Here's another 100.
Like no rhyme or reason,
Yeah.
like no
Mike Mayock.
no streamlined approach or anything whatsoever. Just like cut or trade all of your young superstars for older superstars.
Mikey Mayock getting it done.
I don't know.
Fuck it.
That's his first big deal, right?
Yeah,
Mayock's first big move.
yeah.
Not my problem, is what it is.
I tell you what, if he just like, if Antonio Brown just didn't keep making noise, he'd probably be a 49er right now. He probably would have gotten exactly
A third
what he
and a
wanted.
fifth, if the production stays where it was, would be worth a third and a fifth.
And the Steeler would have gotten more than that.
The problem is
He hurt his own trade value by
for
what
sure.
he did.
The problem is, are those numbers because Roethlisberger was throwing to him,
Fair.
who takes the ball and throws it? Like he's not running anywhere.
He just chucks it up
Yeah.
there. Chucks that bitch up
Wild.
I
Wild
think
world.
I think that what he did made sense, but I think he went too far with it. Like, just it was every day it was something new. It's just like, dude, shut up. You can make noise behind the scenes. Like, you can make as much of a fuss as you want behind the scenes, but once you make it public like that and teams start seeing that, there's teams that you want to go to, like the 49ers, that are going to say, no, we don't want you at all.
True.
there. Giddy up. Twatosaurus.
The 49ers Odell Beckham Jr. talk will not go away.
The who?
Odell Beckham Jr. traded
ain't
to the
gonna-
49ers talk will not
That
stop.
ain't gonna happen.
The
It
Giants
just-
aren't trading him
Yeah.
unless you make them an offer they can't say no to.
Right. Which we don't have
It's
the
like anything
firepower
else.
for.
First of all, everyone that's a fan of football thought it was insane to trade Khalil Mack because it's a known commodity, and it's the same thing with Beckham. You're not going to trade a known commodity for unknown commodity. It's just not. That's not how
Right.
you.
We
get
don't
ahead.
have the firepower
And
unless
he's
they
not
consider.
a big enough problem. Like if he's just a baby, he's
You-
not like he's doing stuff like Antonio Brown. He's just a baby.
They openly shopped him last offseason.
You-
They
Yeah.
were they were
But then they
close
re-signed him and gave him a lot of money.
because they had to though. They were forced to.
You would have to throw like this
Two
year's
firsts.
this year's first and next ye's first. And I don't think
I don't even think it would take that much, to be honest. I don't think it would take 2 firsts.
I think it would. But.
I agree.
Or a first and at least a second.
I mean, he's not as he's never had a stretch like Antonio Brown has had for the last 2 months, where he's been like that divisive. But
But he's
There
also
was
got
always,
he's
like-
also got a retard throwing him a football.
yes, but like there's always been like this Giants kind of sick of his antics narrative surrounding him for the past 3 years.
Like to me, they're both just raw talent. They're both at the top of the pyramid,
Yes,
but
one's 5 years younger.
way different age, and their issues are a little different. Like you don't see Odell Beckham going public and calling out his quarterback.
Yeah, you
or
do.
calling.
Didn't he do that interview
did.
with Lil Wayne?
Yeah, he did.
He did a really awkward
Yeah.
interview with Lil Wayne.
Yeah, but it's not like serial. Like Antonio
Yeah.
Brown, everything is everyone else's fault. Everything is everyone else's fault. Where OBJ is just an idiot. He's a baby. He's a crybaby. Things don't go his way. He's a baby. He's gonna fucking stomp out and he's gonna fucking cry and run off the field. But he also seems like a guy. If they're winning, everything's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Giants fans that still love him.
OBJ?
Yes.
Oh, well, Giants fans are ignorant. They don't know any better. They're fucking they're fucking idiots. They're one step away from being a child molester. All Giants fans. Come on.
I mean, I would love nothing more than to have a wide receiver on this team with his talent. Just not him. Just somebody else.
Yeah, I just don't like him.
I just don't like him.
He's not.
I just don't want to give up the trade that we
Again,
have to.
I typically like guys that are look at me flamboyant guys, but he's just not a cool. I watched a couple like in-depth interviews with him and I've read like one, and he's just
Even
not.
the little news when he had the drugs and the girl and the. I thought that would put him on your team.
No, he's not. He's not.
Remember, like there was like a plate in the background that had drugs on it.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. No, I remember that. No. Right now, Dante Pettis is totally my guy.
I mean, the minute that you make that trade for Odell Beckham Jr., he instantly becomes pretty much the face of your franchise.
Yeah,
He's
we're
like-
not going to get him. We're not making that trade.
I hope not, but the talk, it will not stop. It just
No,
keeps
that's-
coming up
yeah, that's
about how
just-
the Niners are
People-
interested.
It's New York media. You go anywhere else in the country, nobody's saying that.
Bay Area reporters, they just won't stop.
That's because the New York media might be saying it.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
He ain't coming there.
Who cares? Moving on. My dick. Your mouth.
Okay.
Let's go.
I mean, if they didn't pull the trigger to go higher to get Khalil Mack, they're not going higher to get OBJ.
I will back that.
Well, John Lynch says that their offer to the Raiders, our offer to the Raiders to get Mack was, he believed, to be better than what the Raiders...
Yeah, but he could have went higher if he wanted to. He could have put more in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he didn't, so he has a line.
Yeah.
And to me, the Giants, what they're going to want is going to be...
Okay, here's my free agent question, I think. There was a guy, I believe his last name is Cook. Or no, Ross. Ross. He's a wide receiver. Ross. What's the deal? Tell me a little bit.
Well, he was a first rounder 2 years ago.
And he played with Dante Pettis in college,
They
right?
were teammates at
Okay,
Washington.
okay.
His reputation is a burner. He's a speed guy. He ran one of the fastest 40s his year at the combine, but he has not put anything consistent together on the field since.
Where?
In Cincinnati, where he's playing across from A.J. Green. He played while Tyler Eifert was still healthy. The coverage is not bracketed towards him whatsoever, and he has not put up anything. I think he's a one-trick pony, and all he has to his name is speed, and we already have speed on this team.
Okay, fuck him.
Hog him.
You say so, Steve. I don't know if I trust you, but does he have a bad attitude, maybe?
I couldn't say one way or the other. Okay. I just think he's a bust.
Okay.
Free agent
Head on over to the
targets.
AAF with Quentin Patton.
And DeAndre Smelter.
Hey, Trent Richardson was tearing it up. Had like 7 touchdowns in 3 games.
Yeah, I saw his stat. He had 3 touchdowns in one game, but it was 10 total yards.
Yeah, it was like 2, 1, 6. Yeah. Good for him.
As far as free agency goes, I will say every single year, I think for the past 5 years, I've preached like frugalness. This year, the stars seem to be aligning where the best players that are available in free agency match what we need, along with the draft, where we're sitting in the draft and the player we could get at pick 1 in the first round and our second round pick, the kind of player that we can target there, addressing another. Like, the stars seem to be aligning for us to make a serious jump
Yeah.
and really...
Yeah, go get Earl Thomas.
Go get some fucking guys and let's
get
go.
D Ford.
Like, I am all for it this year. Spend on guys that are going to make us more competitive, because there are guys out there this year, whereas there's a lot of free agency years where it's like, really, that's the best free agent? And somebody's going to make him a top 5 paid at his position.
Drop the money
Yeah,
in the
someone's going
bucket,
to pay that wide
Poppy.
receiver from San Diego.
There are players
Around
available
LA.
this year that are worth the amount of money they're going to get.
Someone's going to pay that Chargers wide receiver because there's no free agent wide receiver.
Oh, yeah, he's going to get
And he
overpaid.
doesn't deserve it.
Let Jed York make an awkward little press conference and grin like a dirty troll.
So as far as free agent targets, I mean, I have a little blurb written up on each one of these guys. Do you want me to go player and then blurb, or do you want me to just list all the players and then we'll talk about who we want to talk about?
Player and blurb.
Player and blurb. Okay.
You think?
Yeah, because then we'll know, right then and there we'll either move on to the next one or we'll have something to say.
We brought him up before we even started recording. Edge rusher Justin Houston. He just got cut from Cincinnati. In my opinion, he is the perfect veteran to bring in and mentor the young guys, specifically our future first-round pick.
Kansas City or Cincinnati?
Kansas City. Did I say Cincinnati?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
Kansas
doesn't
City.
matter anyway, but-
He's been an absolute wrecking machine for them for the past 8 years. And yeah, he's lost his step. He's gotten a little bit older, but I
And we got a bunch of
definitely...
young guys that need coaching.
Oh, yeah. I definitely see him as being a guy that we could, he might not get the sacks that warrant his paycheck, but he's going to mentor the young guys.
How about that?
So that's a guy
Get him
we
in
could
here.
go after. He's one of my favorite. I got my favorites in bold, so if he's a favorite of mine, I'll say it. This is not a favorite of mine, but it's a guy I think we're going to look at. It's edge rusher Ezekiel Ansah from Detroit.
Fuck him.
Yeah, I agree.
Fuck him is what everything I know about him, he could fuck off.
He's had productive seasons, but the injury bug has followed him, and he has ties to Martin Mayhew, who is the former GM that drafted him. He's now in our front office, working underneath John Lynch.
Ugh.
And our new defensive line coach, Chris Korick, was the one that coached him for the past few years. He's going to be 30 next season, and he hasn't notched 50 pressures since 2015.
Fuck him. Don't want him.
I don't want any part of that. Edge rusher, another favorite of mine, Shaq Barrett from Denver. He is a very talented young player that got buried on a stacked depth chart. He was ready to become something, and then they took Bradley Chubb in the first round last year, and that really kind of put a kaputs on him. But he is a very talented player. He just got buried.
And he's a free agent.
He's a free agent.
All right.
Kaput.
Kaputs.
Wide receiver
Kibosh on him.
Tyrell Williams from San Diego. He definitely has the size that you're looking
LA.
for the X position. Oh, fuck. I'm still doing that 3 years
I
later.
just did it a minute ago.
But I have a feeling that the team is going to end up overpaying out the ass for a glorified number 2.
Yep. Somebody will.
Kappa.
Wide receiver John Brown. He
Who?
That's a fake name.
Yeah.
John Brown.
Yeah,
It's
that's a name you tell the
it's an
cops.
alias. Yeah.
That's a name you tell the cops when they bust you fucking smoking weed in someone's car and you don't have a license on you. John Brown. Fuck out of here, John Brown.
I don't see
It's
him
an alias.
really fitting. Kind of like the same concept with John Ross, which you already talked about. He's a burner, and I don't think we're likely to pursue him, but he has shown the ability to stretch the field consistently. And
He can fuck off and die.
if the team has questions about Goodwin's durability, because he did not hold up last year at all. This is a favorite of mine. Might surprise you, Joe.
It's a favorite.
Wide receiver Michael Crabtree.
Wow.
Yeah, can you believe it? In my opinion,
I don't think it's gonna happen.
he is a prototypical possession receiver, pretty much exactly the kind of stopgap that we need right now. A
Yeah, we got a fast
sure-handed
guy. We got a shifty guy.
A
Now we need someone to
sure-handed
rip
guy.
the ball away.
with some size.
Yep.
And at this point in his career, I find it hard to believe that he's still the self-entitled twat that we dealt with for 6 years. He has to realize that you're not the shit anymore. You're getting older. Just know your role.
Even when he was, as you put it, our self-entitled twat, he was never on a level of like.
Oh,
I never saw
no.
self-entitled twat.
Not-
I just saw cocky asshole.
Yeah, he was...
Like,
I'm gonna
I
tell you
never
this,
saw, like-
if he ever resigned, I would be forever indebted to the football gods, and I would purchase a Crabtree jersey and then light it on fire while wearing it, just to
Like-
as punishment for burning his jersey the first time.
Like he's never a guy that's going to call out the team
No.
or do any of that stuff. But he isn't. He also isn't a guy that's going out with the rest of the team to like do some bullshit.
Hey,
Like,
no,
he's in the locker
absolutely
room
not.
with his sunglasses on, not talking to anyone. Too cool for the room.
That's right.
What you got to understand
That's
about
my
wide receiver
motherfucker.
is that they're all divas, but they're divas with...
He was my diva.
There's divas with crybaby tendencies. There's divas with badass tendencies. There's divas with... I don't know, soup...
Crabtree and Sherman.
Yeah, on the same fucking team.
And Earl Thomas.
Yeah.
Do you imagine how
What a fucking
That'd be
world.
what
awesome.
bizarro
Every day
what
going against each
bizarro
other.
world
Sherman
2019
wouldn't be
would
going
be.
against him, but
Yeah, that would be wow.
if I was a coach, I'd make him go against him every day.
Moving on, we did good with Crabtree. Would you take it back? You didn't really
Yeah.
voice your opinion.
Yeah, I'm cool.
Yeah,
I'm cool with him coming back.
Chris.
Like I always thought of him as a person that I probably wouldn't like in real life, just because he seemed cocky.
Yeah.
But he was never a detriment to the team with his attitude.
No.
Like he wasn't like a cancer in the locker room. To me, he just seemed like an arrogant prick that I probably wouldn't want to hang out with. But he never was like a TO in the locker room.
Yeah.
He was never on that level.
Okay, now we get to
He was the best friend I ever had.
He was just too swaggy for me to like him.
my number one priority this offseason is go and get Earl Thomas. Pay him. I don't care if you got to
Pay
make
him.
him the highest paid safety in the league.
Pay him.
Steve said, "Buy him."
What's crazy is how many safeties
Are available right
we
now.
have or have had that seemed at some point like they were the guy.
The
Yeah.
answer.
Everyone that's on the roster that's tried safety, at some point we were like, there's the guy. There
Yep.
he is. There, Ward, Tart, Colbert. It's like, fuck, can one of these guys just work out?
Yep.
So that we
We
don't
had
need to go pay Earl Thomas.
Eric Reed, and then he
All
kind
of
of got bumped out the door
But
by
even
Tart.
still, it like never came to like that. Like all those guys seem like they could be the next Earl
Marcel
Thomas.
Harris
or,
last
like-
year.
Yeah, like how does not one of them step up? Because I'd love to have Earl Thomas, but he's aging, he's getting older. It would just be cool if a draft filled that spot.
I know.
Because now you've got money and other resources.
I know.
So wild.
The thing is, though, I'm done waiting.
Yeah, I agree.
That is such an important position
Yeah, we don't have
in
time.
that defensive
Let's
scheme.
go. Yeah.
I mean-
these guys giving touchdowns over the top of like
Agreed.
all the fucking time. Every game, there's one huge play over the top.
Yep.
Like at least, usually to start the half, one of the halves.
And signing Earl Thomas might get one of those other guys to be the next Earl Thomas.
Yes.
Like that might also do that. Might
Earl
bridge-
Thomas can mentor Adrian
Yeah, it
Colbert.
might bridge that gap.
And it's the same concept as Sherman last year. Why try and find a player like Earl Thomas when you can go and sign the real Earl Thomas?
Horny.
I mean, I don't know if he's going to get what he's looking for because there's so many good options at safety. I'll just Landon Collins, Adrian Amos, Clinton Dix, Tyrann Mathieu. I got all these guys on the list, starting with Landon Collins. I mean, he would end up, if we were to sign Landon Collins, he would end up taking Tart's spot, and he would be a big upgrade to Tart, but I really don't see that as entirely necessary because we have Tart who we like. Like, he's never stayed healthy, but we also got Marcel Harris, who looked really good last year, the rookie, who is right behind him. So we don't really need Landon Collins. Although he would be a huge upgrade, I don't see that as a big need.
Earl Thomas is the thump at the back end, though.
Earl Thomas is the free safety, the guy that can run sideline to sideline and shut the field down. I think that a great consolation prize, if we can't get Earl Thomas, is safety Adrian Amos from Chicago. He's a multi-dimensional safety that can do almost anything you asked of him, and he's pretty much a jack of all trades, master of none. But I think a perfect consolation prize if we miss out on Earl Thomas.
If we get Earl Thomas, will you do the safety dance?
What's the safety dance?
An 80s dance?
An 80s dance.
Yeah.
I can't.
It's a safety dance. He's a safety.
Okay, if you find me a dance, I can try and copy it.
Okay. Save that clip, Chris.
I know the safety dance.
Well, you might have to teach the old Steve-O.
Well, as you know, I'm not a man of my word. I said I would hit the rig, and I backed out of that.
Yeah.
I said I would do the dance.
Said
I'm
he would
probably
suck
going to
a
back
dick
out of that.
for a Super Bowl and suck no dick
Still don't
yet.
have a
Yep.
Super Bowl.
Neither
I
of you-
backed out of that.
Neither of you faggots have
Yeah.
sucked a dick yet.
Well, the opportunity
You're clearly
never-
not trying.
I backed out before the opportunity presented itself.
First of all, there's plenty of dicks to suck, so I don't know what opportunity you're waiting for. There's dicks everywhere that could be sucked.
Guaranteed-
Neither of you are
guaranteed
trying.
Super Bowl dicks?
Neither of you are going out and trying. You won't know until you try, Steve.
I'm not getting. Listen, I will gladly get down on my knees, but there needs to be a man that needs to come through these doors. The Lombardi Trophy needs to come with it.
Oh, so yeah, Sam. So you're not a go-getter. You're not willing to go find the dick to suck it to win the Super Bowl. It's got to come to your doorstep. It can't even knock on the door. It's got to come through the door. It's got to have the Super Bowl trophy with it. It's like, oh, yeah. You're not committed.
These are high standards.
You're not committed.
No, I just don't want to be sucking loose dicks.
Nah, well, you're not committed.
Okay.
Sometimes you got to fucking crack a few
Come
eggs
on,
to make an
let's
omelet.
go.
You got to suck a few dicks to find the right one.
Everybody seems to want safety Tyrann Mathieu, who has
The honey
undoubtedly
badger. The honey badger.
proved to be a game-changing player whenever he gets
He's a
on the
free
field.
agent?
Yes.
Yes.
They're not going to re-sign him?
No, doesn't
Wow.
seem like it. He's probably looking for a bigger payday, and Houston's up against the cap.
Yeah.
But he took a bit of a discount last year to try and shed the injury bug. Nobody wanted to give him big money because he kept getting hurt, but he stayed healthy last year, played like how he always played.
Gambled on himself and won.
He did. And I'm not
like
exactly
that. I
sure
appreciate
if
that.
we even got him where we would line him up as, because
Nah,
he's
we're all
best
set.
used as a big nickel safety to cover the slot. We already have two guys who are very capable of covering the slot, and we already have around the line of scrimmage safety with Plasky Tart and Marcel Harris backing him up. So I don't really see that as a need based on what he's going to ask for.
Earl Thomas or bust.
Haha, Clinton Dix, he's going to get paid more than I would even say is a consolation prize like Adrian Amos is going to come cheaper. So I'm all set on him.
I don't need a guy named Haha. Sorry.
There is a cornerback from Denver, Bradley Roby, former first-round pick. Very up-and-down career, but he could end up becoming a very nice bargain for whoever signs him. Buy low. Because his stock has been sky high in the past.
Lots of upside then.
Another guy, buy low. Cornerback Jason Verrett. He's a former first-round pick with... He was a first-round pick when they were San Diego. Now they're Los Angeles. But he is a former Pro Bowler, flashed elite quickness and playmaking ability, and he is also best known for his toughness. But an absolute brutal run of injuries has dominated 4 of his 5 seasons as a pro. His only healthy season, I think he was an all-pro. So it's like... You're either getting the best corner in the league or you're getting nothing.
Let's get him some PEDs and get him back on track.
But I mean, based on his injury history, he should come pretty cheap, and that's the kind of talent that I think if he's only asking for $3-4 million on a prove it deal, what do you got to lose
Yeah, fuck it.
with a
Roll the
player
dice.
like that? Now we're getting into the linebackers. I think a guy that would be a perfect Sam linebacker for us is Anthony Barr from Minnesota. He's only 26 years old, and he's been elected to the Pro Bowl 4 of his 5 years as a pro. And early on, he earned a reputation as an elite pass rusher, which I believe to be somewhat of a misnomer. I think that he is an off-the-ball linebacker with some pass rushing ability and decent coverage ability. But the guy just simply makes plays all over the field, in the backfield, in the secondary. He's always making plays, and I think he would be the perfect replacement for Malcolm Smith.
Sign him.
Another Sam linebacker that we could go after, which I think he's going to get paid top dollar. We might not be able to afford him, is C.J. Mosley with the Ravens. He's a sideline-to-sideline linebacker that can do it all. 4 Pro Bowls in the past 5 years, and he's about as consistent as it gets. He's never going to be discussed as the top linebacker in the league, but whoever has him is going to be very happy
Not
that
a
they have
liability.
him.
Every time I hear his name, I picture him to be a skier, professional skier.
C.J. Mosley.
Yeah, I think there was a Mosley that was a pro skier.
Yeah, Johnny Mosley.
Yeah,
And-
see? Yeah, I like that.
Last guy on my list, because I really only went over the big guys. Free agency is going to actually happen in about 3 days, so we'll probably be back relatively soon. Maybe not next weekend because free agency won't be finished up yet, but maybe the weekend after that. We'll definitely have pretty much everybody that is going to get signed will be signed at that point. But last linebacker I got on the list is middle linebacker Jamie Collins. He was traded to Cleveland from New England a few years ago, and he was labeled as a guy that plays reckless and without discipline to his assignments and fundamentals. We had Reuben Foster, so we saw how that went. And he definitely has talent, and he's worth taking a chance on for the right price. I mean, it's not like the guy has character concerns. He lacks discipline on the field. That's basically what it comes down to.
Giddy up.
And the reports are stating that the 49ers and Packers have been inquiring the Chiefs about a trade for their franchise tag pass rusher D Ford, who's had only one good season in the past 4 years, and it just so happened to come in a contract year. I don't know how I feel about that.
Guess we'd have to see how that
Worth a
works
gamble,
out.
right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
If we trade for him, then we only have him under contract for the 1 year of his franchise
Yes.
tag. So,
I-
not a lot to lose.
Well, whatever draft pick you give them is what you're losing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
Unless
trade
you
a
give 'em-
second for
unless
him.
you give him a player.
But that,
They
like,
can't be expecting a second.
What
for
if you
a guy
give a
that's on
player-
franchise tag, right?
he was a top 5 pass rusher last year.
But he's not under contract.
He's not.
I guess you could probably justify a second if you liked him and you were able to get a long-term deal done.
See,
You know, like you'd have to have the contract worked out first. Otherwise, you're giving a second for 1 year.
Or
Nobody's going to do
you
that.
could give up a player too.
You could, but the thing is that because the
draft.
Chiefs are such heavy contenders right now,
They won't
he's
draft
more
picks.
valuable to them than he would be to a team that,
Oh, they say he's going
yeah.
because they got a new DQ.
Oh,
DC.
it doesn't even like him.
It just doesn't fit.
Okay.
What I was reading is they got Spagnuolo,
So why'd they franchise tag him?
trade bait, I guess.
Yes.
I guess,
It was
yeah.
They don't have anyone else to
That's
put
an
it on.
expensive trade bait, though.
But if you have nothing else to put him on,
I guess.
and you know you're going to trade him, then you're going to
Yeah,
get the
so you
money
don't
from someone
lose them.
else.
Yeah.
So that about wraps up free agency. We could get to the talk of the past 2 weeks has been that it is been labeled as a slam dunk that the Arizona Cardinals are going to spend the first round pick on quarterback Kyler Murray.
If you believe that, I don't know. Why haven't they moved? What's his name?
Well, they can't yet.
But why has there been no talk?
We'll know. We'll have a much clearer picture of this in about 2 weeks. If 2 weeks from now Josh Rosen is still on the Arizona Cardinals, then we'll know that all that was just bullshit.
So what do you do if they take a quarterback with the number 1 pick?
You're asking me?
Yeah, Nick Bosa.
Yes. 100%. I have a little Bosa versus Josh Allen.
I don't think either of them.
You trade down?
Oh, I fucking ransom.
Yeah.
Because somebody needs a quarterback, and somebody knows the Giants are taking a quarterback when they get their pick, and somebody, especially if they take Murray,
Yeah.
because most teams have the other guy,
Haskins.
as number 1.
Yeah.
You know, a traditional pocket passer.
Yep.
So somebody's giving you a fucking, especially if you can get somebody that's in the top 10 still to trade up, because you're still going to get a good pass rusher.
I totally get that. And the only way that I would look into trading down is if Arizona does take Nick Bosa number 1. Because to me,
Then there's still 2 quarterbacks, right? It might be more
yeah.
likely.
To me, Nick Bosa is not only the best player in this draft, he fits what we need so perfectly. It's like we need a rectangle right now, and Nick Bosa is a rectangle. Josh Allen is a square. He kind of fills what we need, but Nick Bosa is like a match made in heaven to what we need right now, in my opinion. Like, just an absolute perfect fit that lines up with what many regard as the best player in the draft. Some people say Quinnen Williams, but there's no way we spend our pick on another interior defensive lineman when we have Solomon Thomas and DeForest Buckner lining up inside.
So the year that Myles Garrett went,
Yep.
that was Lynch's first draft.
Yes.
Okay, and we were slotted at number 2.
2.
And they took Myles Garrett.
Yeah, the Browns took Garrett at 1.
Correct.
And we traded down so that the Bears took Trubisky. We moved down 1 spot.
Correct. So the story was, even if they didn't take Garrett, we thought about trading down because we needed bodies so bad that somebody was going to give a ransom to get Myles Garrett, just like they did to get Trubisky.
Yep.
That was the talk. I was reading that somewhere, that we still might have traded down.
Yeah. But the combine actually proved to be quite the big day for Bosa. I mean, Bosa is labeled as the safe guy, whereas Josh Allen is labeled as the freak athlete. But all of the measurements and specific drills that weight heavily on the pass rushers, Nick Bosa had better numbers in all of them.
You know what's weird to me? That these guys play football their whole life. They play football in football games, and yet there's so much put on the fucking combine.
Which they don't even do.
Isn't that so
They should
weird?
do it in pads.
I think that's all media driven.
They should totally do it in pads.
I agree.
That would make way
It's
more
more
sense.
realistic.
Yeah.
Like, that's
I just don't understand any of it. Like
Yeah, it's retarded.
it should be more functional. Like,
Because
so
people hire trainers just to get good at those specific
yeah,
things.
that's so weird. to
and
me.
it's not
But even
really-
like still like if the 4 of us went out in a field and ran as fast as we possibly could in running shorts and whatever, that doesn't mean anything to me. I want the 4 of you to go, depending on the position. Let's say you're a position where I just want to know how fast you run. I still want you to do it in full football gear. Like,
Yeah.
what? It's so fucking weird.
Doesn't
makes
make
no
it,
sense.
yeah.
And every year there's some guy who's got numbers that are through the roof and does shit in
Yep.
the NFL.
There was that guy this year who was like a freak, chiseled. He looked like a statue. You know, what
DK
I mean?
Metcalf.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that the one they were saying? Somebody was saying that somebody ran the 40 and scouts were like showing each other their stopwatch. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
No, what he did was fucking insane. Based on how
He won't
much
do
he
anything.
weighs.
he won't be shit.
Yeah, probably not. But a man that large is not supposed to be able to run that
He'll
fast.
be a 2nd or 3rd round pick. It won't
So
do
strange.
shit.
But as far as Nick Bosa goes, the tail of the tape goes like this. Bosa, 6'4", 266. He's got 33-inch arms and 10 3/4 hands. He's got more of a very compact frame, and he uses his explosiveness to streamline his techniques to the quarterback around the edge. He's got elite quickness off the line. He's got elite ability to convert his speed to power and vice versa. His best move is a swing move to the inside, and hand strength is a very big part of his game. He places a high emphasis on finding the ball carrier. The man that he needs to beat in front of him is an afterthought. All he cares about is getting to the ball. He causes disruption on almost every single play, even if he doesn't end up with the tackle or end up making the play. His path to the quarterback is unaltered by jabs to the chest. He just keeps coming. My only negative I saw in him so far, I got more to watch, but he seems a bit slow to react when he's pursuing the quarterback in the open field. Like when he's already beaten his man and he's going to the quarterback, it doesn't take much for the quarterback to make a miss. That he needs to work on. Now you got Josh Allen. 6'5", 262, 33.5-inch arms, a little bit longer, much smaller hands though, 8 3/4. The thing with Josh Allen is that he's got the elite bend around the edge. He's able to do a loop and maintain his speed all the way through. He's got an elite first step. He uses his arm length to keep D linemen off of him. He's athletic enough to play in coverage against running backs and tight ends, so he's extremely versatile in that aspect. He has a knack for forcing linemen to hold him. He gets a lot of holding calls. And a couple knocks on him. He's got a lack of a counter move when he gets locked up. He's got no counter. And he gets eaten alive by double teams. But he does have a reputation for showing up when you need him most. Late in those games, 3rd down, 4th down situations, he always seems to come through with the sack. My whole thing with these two is that I absolutely love Josh Allen, the competitor. But I just think Bosa's better. A better player.
I think I would agree almost with that. I like Josh Allen as a competitor and kind of even as, I don't know, I think he reminds me a little bit of like an Alden Smith Jr. almost, kind of. I don't know why.
They got very similar build.
Yeah, so I like that, but I just think that Nick Bosa, again, fits the mold of exactly what the Niners need. So I think that's good. And
it's so hard for me to believe that Arizona drafted Rosen.
The same GM is still there, by the way.
And then went and got a new head coach. And during the interview process, the number one question wasn't, what do you think of Josh Rosen?
Right.
Like, how that's not the first question on the list.
Right.
Because they used their high draft pick to draft him.
Again, what if
it's so hard.
But the only...
It's so hard for me to believe that hasn't already all happened. Like,
I totally get where you're coming from.
It's just so crazy to me.
The only thing was that the one quarterback that's in question, Kyler Murray, was not supposed to be available. So if this guy was like, listen, we're rolling with Rosen, that's our guy. But hey, if this guy does become available, I don't know if that was the
But the guy that drafted Rosen
is still there in that job.
Yeah. I just meant for the coach.
At the time, knew that there was a possibility that Kyler Murray would be available next year.
Yeah.
Like at the time that wasn't decided.
Yeah.
Like
true.
it's just it's not adding up to me.
No.
And I also don't know what Arizona has to gain by putting out there some fake bullshit that they are getting Murray.
Yeah.
Unless Murray's can't put that out there.
No.
It's weird to me.
I mean, if it's a smokescreen at all, it shows you that they're interested in trading down for a ransom.
Okay. That's fair. Because I'm thinking, like, if you have the number one pick, why are you trying to fool anyone?
No, they're trying.
You can take whoever the fuck you want.
If it is a smokescreen, it's a smokescreen to see what they can get to trade down. Because they need so much help. That team is so far away from contending. But I'll put it to you like this.
And I guess, so if you're the number one slot,
yep.
And everyone knows the Niners are looking for pass rush, by saying you're taking Murray, that tempts anyone else that wants Bosa to move in front of the Niners to take Bosa.
Yeah.
I guess that's...
anybody who really wants Murray to make a crazy offer to you.
No.
Yes.
No, because if you really want Murray, you're not trading draft picks to let somebody else take him.
No, but I'm saying if they're trying to trade down.
Yeah, another team that wants Murray.
No. If you really want him, if it's real, no other team is going to think that they're going to get him from you.
Right.
The whole point is that you want a guy that they don't want. That's the trick. That's the trickery.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I know.
Well, I mean, you could call somebody up and be like, I heard you like Kyle Murray. Well, I guarantee you I like him more than you.
Yeah.
And let me show you how.
That's a more dangerous game.
Yeah, very. But I'll say this.
Everyone knows the Niners want a pass rusher.
Yeah.
Let's go a different angle. Everyone knows the Niners are not drafting a quarterback at number 2. Everyone knows that. Every single team in the NFL knows that. So, by saying you're taking Murray, every team that wants a pass rusher knows they're going to have to get in front of the Niners for Bosa. So, if you're in the 3, you can move to number 1, get Bosa, and know that if you're the Cardinals, you know the quarterback's going to be there at 3. Because there's no way the Niners are taking him.
As insane as it sounds to think that the Cardinals are going to use a first-round pick on Josh Rosen last year and then turn around the following year and use a first-round pick on a quarterback seems insane because it's not something that normally happens. But let's just paint a scenario that maybe could have happened a few years ago. Let's say that the Kansas City Chiefs spend a first-round pick to get Blake Bortles, which the Jaguars did. But let's just say he ended up with the Chiefs. Bad to mediocre, not convinced, kind of not really happy with your selection. A year goes by. You see Patrick Mahomes on film and you go...
but Bortles and Mahomes weren't back-to-back drafts.
No, they weren't.
They were way spread out. That's what I mean. Like,
But-
the guy was in the pipeline.
I believe that you...
If it was 2 or 3 years apart, I'm with you.
Yeah. I don't think that you let a good player stop you from drafting what you think might be a generational player.
Well, and also, if you take it back a level, any team would trade their first round pick 2 years in a row for a guy that's going to be the guy.
Yeah.
Anyone would. If you said, guaranteed, you
Well,
give
just
up
like the
2
Khalil
first...
Mack thing, kind of.
Yeah. You're buying a known quantity.
But if I said to you, you give up 2 first round draft picks 2 years in a row, and I'll give you a top 5 quarterback, every team says yes to that.
Yes.
And if you get 2 of them, you've got a better shot at one of them being that guy.
Yeah.
So
There's a lot of people that thought the Browns should have taken 2 quarterbacks last year in case they missed on number
one.
1.
Yeah, one of them.
One of them's going to work out. But
All right.
Someone's partying.
Yeah, well,
anyway, that's
It's only 11 o'clock.
probably trying to drown us out.
yeah, my feelings currently are if Bosa's there at 2, run that name up to the table. And if he's taken by Arizona, I would start taking some phone calls because although as much as I love Josh Allen, the competitor, he's not Von Miller. Number 2 overall. Von Miller went number 2 overall. Khalil Mack went number 4 overall. And I understand a lot of bad guys go in the top 5 too, but I just don't see Josh Allen becoming Von Miller. I see him becoming a very good pass rusher. I don't see him becoming a Von Miller or a Khalil Mack or anything like that. That's just my feeling on it. And there's so many good pass rushers in this draft where if you were to trade to 7 or 8, you're still getting a really good pass rusher. That's what's so great about this draft.
Trade down.
Between free agency
your
and the
take.
draft, we can really make a turnaround this season, big time, if we allocate the right resources where we need them most.
Giddy up, Steve. Ready to do the emails?
Yes.
All right. So what we'll say is if you're feeling squirrel in the offseason, drop us an email, goldbudgetpodcast@gmail.com. Check out the Instagram. I'm sure Mike Curran's going to want to really shove it up Steve's ass.
Daily, Curran.
Somehow. Yeah.
Daily.
So, yeah, don't listen to that, Curran. We didn't read Matt Matterson's from January 3rd because we put episodes out on January 3rd, and then I think he emailed us. So I'm going to just read this one way or the other.
Never want to miss a Matterson.
It's called Rumors and News. I know that this is going to be a month late, but I want to express my opinions on a couple of topics. Greg Popoff replacing Ted Robinson on the radio. That's a surprise because I thought Ted would be doing a little bit longer. As long as Greg uses a different call when the Niners make a touchdown. Touchdown, Niners doesn't sound great. Niners are getting OBJ or AB. I am with the crew. Antonio Brown. I don't think Kyle Shanahan can tolerate OBJ's behavior in the locker room. Well, Matterson, we were all wrong there. All right, let me see here now.
You just call Matterson Curran.
I did.
Curran on the brain.
Yeah, well, we just were talking about him. So here we go. We have a February 6th Matterson snuck in there. Raiders home field in 2019. I heard that the San Francisco Giants and Oakland Raiders have a deal for Oakland play at now known as Oracle Park. My opinions is this. I am not a fan of that idea because of it's a baseball park. I have a hard time seeing it as a football field. I can see Raiders playing 7 games at Lee Vivi's, but Oakland doesn't want to use it. Why not play in Vegas? They have to build their brand in Las Vegas sooner or later.
Haven't the Raiders been playing on a baseball field
Yeah,
Yes.
since like the 80s.
since forever? And we blocked that, right? They can't play in San Francisco?
Yeah.
Correct. They made a deal with Oakland. They're playing there.
You're not playing in the city that I represent.
They're playing in Levi's?
Don't blame them at all.
No,
No, they're
playing-
staying in Oakland for another year.
Correct. Matterson again, changing my opinions. I've been hearing a lot more information about Antonio Brown as a player. I don't think that this is a great idea. He has a lot more baggage than OBJ. The Niners released Foster because of his off-field problems. Why should they trade for Brown? I think OBJ can improve his behavior by learning the Niners coaching staff.
This is actually good. He gets them all out because, like,
Yeah.
he says this, then he can correct it, and we read it all at once.
And like, we live that timeline,
Yeah.
you know? So it's like seeing it in hyperspeed.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah.
All right, so we got Nick Duffy here. He got a couple in.
All right.
All right. Nick Duffy, who fucking cares? Tom Brady is a cunt. Good day, shit cunts. And Chris, how's it going, boys? I'm sure you have covered this already, but Tom Brady is a fucking cunt, and I hope he dies in a flaming AIDS fire. And it's now officially off-season. It's time to talk about random non-football related bullshit as opposed to my normal razor-sharp football analysis. Good news, I found a tattooist who is a fucking hardcore Niner fan, which is awesome. If I want a tattoo, he just cancels whoever is booked because Niner family comes first. He will also come to my house, which is bonus because it's a shit ton easier racking up rails at home than at a studio.
So when
And
he goes and gets tattooed, does he throw on the podcast for the guy?
It's a good question. And
mean, come on.
He's getting too old to get tattoos without taking serious fucking drugs.
So, I've never partaken, but it seems like that's not the drug to do, to get tattooed.
Cocaine.
Yeah.
No, but he could also be racking up heavy opiates.
What a weird game.
You know, I just
It's
thought...
like pushing the gas pedal and the brake at the same time instead of just coasting along. I don't get it.
I just thought of something great that you should do. You should, next time you get a tattoo customer that you think you could fuck with a little bit, like they don't really know you, but you could fuck with them and it'd be okay.
Rack up a rail?
Yeah. Well, if you put on our podcast and whoever you're tattooing is like, strange, this guy sounds just like you.
What is this weird shit?
What is man a Twilight Zone? He sounds just like you. Like, yeah, I don't know. Just some guy I listen to.
Some weird shit. All right. Ridiculous Kid said to say hello and that Chris should be ashamed for being a filthy fucking Jets fan. So this is it. This is the season we've all been waiting for. The season that Matterson finally pops his cherry. We're all rooting for you, kid. I suppose I should talk about football. We all know what we need, mostly the same things we've needed for the past 5 seasons. A serious pass rusher, a serious deep threat receiver who Kittle and a fit Goodwin makes that less of a necessity. And a fucking lockdown corner. We wasted too much time on that fucking cunt Culliver and have never recovered in that position. A fit Jimmy fucking G would help as well. Shoutouts to Brighton. Stop running places, you pommy cunt. That shit will kill you. To Julio for holding it down in enemy territory. The rest of you could choke on a cock. That's it for me, boys. Off-season is definitely for cunts. Months of bullshit and speculation about who we draft, who we get in free agency, and who gets arrested. Who fucking cares? Happy recordings, boys. Joey, don't get into any trouble in Mexico. At least don't get shot. Catch you on the flip side. Nick. All right, that's Nick Duffy 1, Nick Duffy 2. Tech Whiz. Chris, you fucking cum stain. Get your hand out of Steve's pants and fix some shit. One fucking job. Get it right, son.
He did.
He did. He fucking did
Came
it.
through in the clutch.
I'm shocked that this shit went off. I don't know.
Slow down. It's not posted yet.
Correct. We'll see.
That thing might fucking go up in smoke.
Yeah, so maybe you
The
people...
lost recordings.
Maybe it'll happen. Maybe it won't. Anything else to say before we go?
Isn't there more emails?
No.
What about the guy from the Chicago game that we met?
Oh, that's me. That's his name in the email.
Oh, I thought that was just us. My
No,
bad.
he just
He-
told us- he
I
told
thought it
his
was. I
username
thought it
on
was
his
one of
name.
us saying,
Oh,
"Oh,
his
my
first
bad."
name.
My
I
I
bad.
thought maybe he emailed that other
No,
address
no,
that
no.
automatically.
Okay,
forwards.
so
No.
so me says Niners. Hello, longtime listener of the show from Rochester, New York. I was at Candlestick for the Monday night game versus the Bears back in 2012 for Colin's first start and Alden ending the game with a safety. And one of you gave me a cold-blooded business card as I watched a person in front of me in line for a beer roll a doobie just standing there. I knew I loved Callie, and I've been listening ever since. Better than Pardon My Take, Mike. Hi, Mike.
So many parts of that are crazy.
But
None of us are from California. He said, I know I loved Cali.
Yeah, we weren't at that game.
Not a single one of us
We weren't
was
even
at
a
that game.
podcast at that point.
Yeah,
Those
Correct.
business cards didn't exist.
not yet, not at that point in time. So what Joe came up with before we start recording is, go ahead, say it.
I'm convinced that you met a time traveler, my friend. Like, one of I don't know.
It is the only way to explain any of this.
Because, like, let's think about that. Maybe it was me. Maybe I find a time machine because I would probably go back to Colin Kaepernick's first start.
You would.
Yeah.
Alden Smith had fucking like 6 sacks in that game.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I thought that was in Chicago, but okay.
I remember leading up to that game, we were like all like, oh man, wonder how this is gonna go, and oh, nervous. The Bears are
That was
pretty
a Monday
decent,
night, right?
Yep, Monday
Yeah,
night.
I was on vacation. I was in Virginia Beach.
Yeah.
So whoever you are, why don't you instead write us an email of every game you've been to
Yes.
since then, and we'll narrow down who gave you a card, when, and where.
Yep.
It's not crazy that we mailed some cards to somebody and then they
We didn't
handed
have
them
cards
We
out.
didn't
then.
have
That's the
cards at
point.
the time.
I'm saying at a different
At a
game,
game.
a,
Okay.
new,
That's what I
a more
said.
recent game.
Well,
Yeah.
but if he sends us a list of the games, maybe it was the one they were at.
Right, agreed. Yeah. Maybe it was that one. Yeah. Okay. Well,
Because
let's.
they said candlesticks.
Well,
Yeah.
me. Let's try to figure that out. So, anything else now?
No. We should be back fairly soon to discuss the free agents that we hopefully spend on.
All right. Yeah.
That fizzled.
I'm gonna take one less hash it next time. All right.
And we're going to have one more laptop next time.
Hey, it worked. Fuck off.
It did.
Yeah. Over and out.